What's New Mama podcast. We are your hosts, Amy and Giselle.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Hi.
my voice is kind of in and out.
It wasn't me. I didn't get you sick. I haven't been near you.
I got like a cold from my little one, actually. So
how's he
I've
feeling?
been kind of like in and out. But anyway,
how's he doing? He's okay?
He's good. Yeah, he's
okay.
good. He's good.
Right.
So this episode, we decided that we wanted to talk about sleep and sleep training our kids. This was actually requested by one of our followers. She messaged me.
Yeah.
And she was like, you guys need to talk about this because I don't know what to do here.
There's a couple people actually that were like, when are you guys going to cover sleep?
And because you know what? It's
I
funny.
need it.
I don't even know why we didn't even think about it the first
It was on the topic list, but we just... Other things popped up and we were like, oh, let's talk about this. But this is priority. Sleep is very important.
Yeah.
So shout out to Zoila, right?
No, it was actually Lisette.
Oh, Lisette. Okay.
Yeah.
So shout out to Lisette. And I know a couple of other moms that are struggling in the sleep realm right now. So hopefully this helps you guys out.
And we actually wanted to do something more organized, I guess, with a little more research. We didn't want to just throw things out there for you guys.
Yeah.
So we kind of were like, let's just leave it and get our stuff together.
Like, so we're not going to do some random sana, rana, culito, whatever. We're not going to do anything.
So I have like my little list. I wrote everything down like I was going to class.
Look at your handwriting. It's so good. Tom makes fun of me because he says I have ugly handwriting. He's like, for somebody so beautiful, you have ugly handwriting. I was like, no, your handwriting is ugly, okay? Not mine.
Now I have to see. I don't remember seeing your handwriting anywhere. Now I have to check. Now I have to see when
I'll pull something
when
up.
I see
I'll
you
pull
next.
Something up next time. Yeah. But no, this is important. Sleep is very, very important. I know you and I have different current sleep situations.
Oh my God, yeah.
So I don't know. I know you want to dive into it. So let's go into the methods.
Yes, let's go into the methods.
There's obviously various methods. There's a custom approach if you're working with the trainer and things like that. But the main 6 methods, that's what we're going to cover today. And then what we did.
Okay.
Or what we, what we tried to do.
I have 6 methods of sleep training, and jump in if you think there's anything that I might have missed. But it's called the check and console method. And this is also known as the Ferber Method, the graduated extinction method, progressive weighting, or the interval method. See, that's where I was like reading this and I was like, how is this applied to like 6 different methods into one?
So that's one.
And so that one is when you do like timed intervals of when you go in. When you go in of like, you let them cry, let's say 5 minutes, and then you go in. So they're not like thinking you're going to go in and check on them.
You do the first couple of times. So you're supposed to start. So this is what I did with Derek, right? And successful. It took 3-4 days and we were good. So
and wait, just before you go into it, how old was he when you started doing this?
So it usually says like, don't do it younger than 6 months. So that's when I started to do it. Also, I wasn't working at the time. So I had 3-4 days that I could be sleep deprived for a little bit and kind of sacrifice to get to that end goal. So trust me, I know it's not easy. So if you're waking up early, going to work and doing other things, I know that it's a huge sacrifice, but it pays off in the long run. Derek is the proof of that. So, so with us, with the Ferber method, and, we'll go into the other ones, cry it out method, all that stuff. I was like, I can't do cry it out, which we'll go into it, but you basically let the baby cry until they basically go to sleep. That could be 25 minutes, 65 minutes. I'm not doing that. The crying alone, I don't know about other moms, but that was like nails on a chalkboard and it was triggering. And I was like,
especially at night too.
At night, when you're exhausted, everybody's tired. Like the last thing you want to do is hear a baby wail. And also, I just feel terrible.
Yeah.
Like they just want comfort, So, so we started it off. I actually stayed in that room with him. And then because Tom was working and I wasn't working. So I told Tom, you stay in our room. I'm going to stay in his room and sleep on the little bed that we have there. And that way he's not affected by it, because I know it's going to be a tough couple of nights. And he's like, all right, okay, let me know if you need anything. So the first night, right, it was literally 2 minutes, right? Because you start with the bare minimum, 2 minutes, and then you pick them up, you soothe them, and then, you rock them a little bit, and you put them back down when they're, the key to it is you put them down when they're, and this always tripped me up, because you're not supposed to put them down when they're asleep. You're supposed to put them down awake, when they're asleep. Drowsy. Yeah. Because then what's going to happen is, if you put them down while they're asleep, they're going to wake up like, what happened to mom? What happened to dad? So it doesn't work. So I did 2 minutes, and then Derek would wake up and cry, but I was in the same room, so I didn't have to go all the way to the other side of the apartment. I got up and I grabbed him and I soothed him. Then from 2 minutes, we then went to 4, right? I didn't follow the strict regimen. I did like my own thing. And I did 2, 4, 8, and then 12. Okay. I do even numbers. I like even numbers. I think the method is like 3, 5, 15 or something like that. I just did 2, 4, 8, 12 minutes. And then after that, it was like, okay, 30 minutes, an hour, and so on. Eventually, like by day 3, he was fine. Okay. And he would sleep through the night. He would fuss, he would wake up, but he would soothe himself. He would grab the binky, or around that time, we didn't have anything else in the crib. No, so it was just the binky that we had in there. It's hard, but it's hard for 3 to 4 days, and that's it. But I will start off by saying that even with that method, and obviously, you pick them up, you soothe them, you put them back down, it's rinse and repeat. You do all of it, and you feel delirious when you're doing it, because you're lacking sleep, you're exhausted. And I felt like, holy crap, how am I going to get through this? Day 1 was rough, and I had to take naps during the day because I was exhausted. Day 2 got better. It does get progressively better. Then day 3, you're like, okay, 4 hours of stretch before he actually woke up and like fussed, and then soothed him, put him back. Then day 4, from 4 to 7, right? It was smooth sailing. He would wake up, he would fuss, but he would soothe himself and then go back to sleep. I was like, oh, it worked. But what I was gonna say was, I didn't really co-sleep, so I feel like that also helped us in a way to transition him to the stage. So we did bring him into the bed because I was breastfeeding exclusively and pumping. So to have him, I would have him nurse, and then I would put him, the bassinet was next to our bed. So it was a huge step up from having the bassinet next to our bed. And then from the bassinet, he outgrew that to the pack and play, right? The little top shelf of it. We put him there next to our bed. And then at 6 months, we brought him into his own room, because Tom and I were so paranoid. We're like, no, we need to be aware. Like, if he wakes up or something happens, we were so terrified of something happening. Again, because we were still triggered by like the RSV experience that he had at 2 months, that we were like, no, we can't have him outside of our room. So that was the deal. I was going to train him to sleep 6 to 8 months. And then after that, he was good. We did, when he went through a regression period, like teething was one, the leaps that they go through at 9 months, 7 months. When he did go through those stages, it was tough, because at that point we were like, all right, there's no,
it's kind of like you have to restart again.
Yeah, but
with the training,
it's easier because you don't have to go through the full training. You just kind of have to accept that for that week or so, those couple of days, you're going to have to make some adjustments and accommodations. You're going to have to adjust and say, you know what, let's bring him into the bed. And it's just because he had teeth coming in or a big leap that he was going through. And so I would say, if you're going to do the Ferber method or the Extinction method, be flexible, right? That worked for us. It wasn't like cold turkey. It wasn't black and white. We went with the flow of what we felt he needed from us. And that was another big point too that worked for us. We listened to it, but we tried to be in tune with what he needed. You know, we weren't just going to let him be like, well, no, we sleep trained you, so you have to kind of, you know, now you know your way. Yeah. Like we adjusted, and we were willing to say, okay, you know what, this might take a little bit more time for this week. Might be a rough week. When we started food, when we transitioned from nursing, pumping to formula, and then to baby-led weaning, that was another struggle too, because it's a change in their diet. It's a change for the gases, all of that stuff. So that was an adjustment period that came soon after that. And I was like, shit, are we going to lose the progress that we made? That was one. But no, we bounced right back. And then the other thing was we went on vacation. So we went on vacation. We obviously brought the pack and play, or you can actually get one from the hotel and like borrow it while you're there. But we were in Puerto Rico, and we were like, you know what? He's just going to sleep in the bed with us. So we were hoping that, because we were there for like 10 days or something like that. Like we did a super long, as you and Jess say, you take brolic vacations. We take like 10 days minimum. But he slept with us in the bed. And we were like, you know what? It is what it is. Like, we'll deal with it when we get home. But it was a nice time. And then when we got home, we put him back in his crib. He was fine.
Oh, okay,
so
good.
It works. It works. And I know every baby is different. So just be mindful of that. If your baby has digestive issues, you know, just anything in general, just ask your doctor, obviously. But that worked for us. That was my living experience with that.
All right, so I'm going to go on and read. Yes, that's the Ferber method, or the check and console method, and some other names that they have. And then there's obviously the extinction or cry it out method, which is just where you just let them cry it out. And we've gone over that. If it works for you,
have you tried
great. That? No.
Okay, I can't do that.
No. I'm like you. I was so tired, and I was just like, I can't listen to you crying the whole time. I want to sleep too. Yeah. And that was the whole thing with me. So I was like, no, I'm not trying this. But then there's this other method, which I think I just started like hearing about, was the chair method. Is when you sit next to the crib and you only cry, or you only pick up the baby when it starts to cry. Yeah. And then you just move further out every night, like further out. But anytime they cry, you don't pick them up. You just like either pick them up or you soothe them right there.
You put your hands
on the
in.
spot. Yeah. On the spot. Which is funny. I think this is the method that I ended up using with Sienna. Okay. Not with the chair, but where she would go, like if she would start crying, I wouldn't pick her up. I would just soothe her in her crib, and I would just like pat her little butt. Yeah. Because she used to sleep with her butt in the air. I would just pat her, and like I'd stay there, and then I'll just shush her, like shh, 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 shh. Yeah. And she'll go back to sleep. So that's the method that I did. I believe.
That just reminded me. So on top of sleep training methods, right? Did you do a sound machine? Did you do anything in the room?
Sienna. With Milo, I have a sound machine.
Okay. We do a sound machine, and that helps a ton. So white noise definitely helps. But you got to be careful, because then they become dependent on that, and then they can't sleep without it. But no, Derek falls asleep in the stroller with horns blaring.
If they're tired, they will fall asleep.
They will fall asleep, yeah. Okay, so you did that with Sienna. Did you do that with Milo?
No. Well, we'll talk about Milo after I'm done with this whole thing. Okay. Because he's a special case. And then so number 4 is the pick up, put down, and shush. And this generally works best for babies under 7 months. Okay. So I guess that's what I did.
It's kind of a combination of what I did too.
It's like, I don't know. I think I just did a whole bunch of different things. Yeah. And whatever worked. So number 5 is a bedtime routine, and it's called fading. So you wait for the baby to fall asleep and gradually fade it out. Like if you do like rocking, or you nurse them, and you generally like start doing it less and less time, and then you start putting them to sleep. Yeah. Like when they get drowsy.
That one you're supposed to monitor the baby's cues. and you're supposed to say, okay, are they yawning? Are they rubbing their eyes? Then you're also supposed to create that routine.
That's kind of hard to figure out with little babies.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing it like with younger than
a 6-month-old,
like between like 4 and 6 months, it's kind of hard to kind of pick up on those cues.
Yeah.
Because they don't really, you just start seeing them fading maybe a little bit.
But if you're really like, because there's cues, right, that you could tell when they're hungry. So if they have like a closed fist and they won't like budge open, like that's a sign that they're hungry. You can tell when they're tired a little bit because you'll see them like slightly like, close their eyes, like fade out a little bit. But the thing is that with that method, you have to create a routine. So if you're one to bathe your baby consistently every night, we didn't do that with Derek because he didn't go anywhere and he had minimal messes. So the bedtime routine was putting him in his pajamas, putting on the projector, because I had this little projector, he still has it, that does like aurora borealis in like the northern lights and all that stuff in the room. And then it plays like white noise, or it has like different sounds that you could do. That was setting the tone. So he knew that once the lights were off and that thing was on, the projector was on, and he had his pajamas on, that was his routine. And we were getting ready to soothe and all that stuff. So with that last one, you have to be very consistent with the method. So I think I did a combination of all of them except for the cry it out. Yeah. But again, I didn't bathe them every day. So, which I'm sure that would have helped. But I was like, he doesn't need it. And he also has like sensitive skin like me. Like, I have eczema. He has eczema. And I felt like that was just going to dry his skin out even more. But that one's nice because it creates a routine for both parents and the baby. But you could do what I did, or like what you did with Sienna, and combine the method so that you can find the balance of your own and create it.
Whatever works for you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would assume that's what it's like when you're speaking with the sleeping coach or something, right? Because they know of these different methods. They're just going to customize a plan for you and the baby. So, but yeah, that was a good one.
And then the last one is called Bedtime-hour fading. So you put the baby into the crib at the time they begin to doze off. And then you gradually start moving that bedtime to an earlier time. So let's say like the baby starts dozing off at like 10 p.m. normally. That's when you put them down. But then you start moving that time
to like 9:45, 9:30.
Yeah, like start moving it. So you start putting them to sleep at the time you want them to fall asleep. And that's when their body starts, I guess, responding to the different time.
Think about it. It's like an adult. Like if you keep going to sleep late because you're watching a show to unwind or whatever, and before you know it, it's 11:30 at night, you're like, man, I gotta wake up early. And now I'm going to be exhausted tomorrow. Instead of you saying, you know what, let me shut down. And there's research on this that says, don't look at your phones, like the blue light emission, like don't keep the devices, mute your notifications at a certain time. Like I have all that stuff, the do not disturb. So think of that. And then when you apply it to the baby world, it's the same thing. You want to make sure that you're progressively adjusting the bedtime routine and that you don't have the TV blaring in the background. You don't have noise. Somebody's not washing dishes. Like that was one of the things too. Like Tom's like, I can't wash dishes now because the baby's, whatever. I was like, no, it's fine. I'll go to the room to minimize noise, So that's a good one with the routine and the fade away, right? The fade away.
The bedtime fade.
Yeah, the bedtime fade.
Bedtime-hour fade, yeah. I was just thinking so I'm laughing to myself internally. I'm thinking, so Milo was born at 5:20 in the morning. And that little motherfucker messed me up so bad because I was so tired, after giving birth. I wanted to sleep. So he got used to sleeping during the daytime. And at night, he was not sleeping at all. And that was probably the hardest thing I had to go through when I realized that his internal clock was off. He was thinking it was nighttime during the day. So he would sleep during the day like an angel. And then at night, nope.
wide
he was
awake.
up. He wanted to be feeding. He wanted to look around. He wanted to do things. And I was like, oh no, we can't do this. So it was like I had to keep him up and entertained during the day. Yeah. And then at night, when it was time to go to sleep, we would turn off all the lights. We would keep everything very dim and have everything ready for bed. So that took me like good 2 weeks to get him into that
after he was
cycle.
Born.
Yeah, after he was born.
Okay.
And I should have known that from there, it was only downhill.
What?
Because
Why?
it's just like, I was so tired. I think it was just this whole attitude where I was just like, I don't give an F about anything. I just want to sleep. Yeah. I don't want to sacrifice my health for this, because he was breastfeeding and he wanted to just eat all the time. He was nursing almost regularly, like every 2 hours on the dot. He wanted to nurse, and he was nursing for a long time. And that's when I realized he just had me like for soothing. Comfort. Yeah. And he was soothing himself. And I was like, oh, hell no.
Were you pumping?
I didn't pump at all during the whole thing, because the first time I pumped with him, I felt like nothing was coming out, like, because he was latching on for so long.
You didn't have recovery.
And I tried and then so I tried like pumping while he was eating at the same time. That didn't work. I felt like that was just too strenuous for my body. Okay. So I was just like, whatever. So I decided to co-sleep with him, and I think that's where I went wrong. Because he's 3 years old. I'm still co-sleeping with that little sucker. Okay. I'm going to tell you that right now. I have not slept in my bed since I had him. I sleep in his room because we got him a full-size mattress. Yeah. I sleep in his room with him every night, and it's been a struggle. Anytime I wake up, and I tell you this, I can't wake up. I can't move because he knows I'm not there. For you. Yeah. He starts screaming, Mom, where are you? Mom. So I definitely regret not taking the time to try to sleep train him, even though I'm going to tell you, I did try. I had him on the bassinet. I would put him down there. He would not fall asleep. He would not fall asleep. And if he did, it was like 10 minutes and he'd be up, and you'd hear him moving around, or he'll kick. I tried swaddling him. He didn't like the swaddle. He would he would get out of it. And it was bad. Like he was probably the worst I've ever had to deal with. After that, I was like, this is it. I'm not having any more children.
Is that what solidified it?
I think so. It's bad, and it's still bad. Like, I still sleep with him, and you know what? At this point, I'm like, whatever. He's gonna go to a point where he's just gonna be like, Mom, I'm good. Yeah. Get out of my room.
Yeah, pretty much.
Vic was like, when he's 18. And I'm like, no, don't worry about it. He'll get over it. But it's funny because with Sienna, it was totally different. I had her in a bassinet next to me, and my mom would laugh because my mom spent a lot of time with us here during my recovery with her, and she would laugh because Sienna would talk or like babble
while she was sleeping.
Yeah, a lot. And my mom used to like wake up like, oh my God, what's going on? And we used to laugh, cracking up like 2 a.m. delirious from sleep. Yeah. Because I used to actually, it's funny. Me and my mom would sleep in the same room with the baby. Yeah. Because my mom was worried about me, I guess, and she would like wake up to check on me also. But she would be like, "Esa niña." All she does is like, you would hear her go, and she'd be like,
but what? She was asleep.
She was asleep the whole time.
But that's called active sleeping, though. That's normal.
My mom would be like, why doesn't she shut up? She's scaring me. So that's with funny. Her, it was totally different. And then I would have her, and then when my mom left, I had a bassinet, and I would put her next to the bed. Okay. She would breastfeed, or I would give her milk, and then she would just go to sleep. I put her down. And then, so when it was like 5 months, I want to say, we decided it's time for her to go to her crib. So we would put her in the crib with the projector, because we had a projector too. Okay. We swaddled her. She had these I forgot the name of the brand of the swaddle, but it was like the perfect swaddle
like
for her.
The ones that have the Velcro that you can
bean sack, nested bean. Okay. With the bean that has like weighted here on their chest, so it feels like someone has their hand on them. Yeah. I had those, and she slept with that actually till she was about 3. She slept with
3 years old
with a sack thing. Yeah, they have like
Oh
the
wow.
adaptable ones that have the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
sack, and it has like
That you can grow with
and then
it.
the
Yeah.
older they get, the sack with the nest with the beans gets larger. So it's
Okay.
like they have like someone's hugging them.
It gives them. It's like adults with the weighted
Hmm.
blanket. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I used that with her till she was like 3, but I started with her at 5 months in her room,
Okay.
and she was, I have to say, probably the easiest thing. And this is where I got fooled. That I was like, oh, we're great. Because like I told you, I would go in and she would cry. At first few times I would pick her up, and I realized if I'm picking her up and I'm trying to put
Yeah.
her back in, by the time I put her back in, she was waking up because I couldn't reach over the crib.
Yeah.
That was that
Yeah.
situation.
So that was the other thing that I forgot to mention, which is good that you mentioned it. If you're putting the baby down into the crib,
yeah,
do
that's
not
the hardest thing.
Do not do this. If you're watching, do not grab and then do this. Okay? You have to grab and go down and then put the baby down because they need to feel like they don't the whole point, and I read this because that's what I did with Derek. They feel like they're falling if you do the other way. Like a football. No, you want to keep it close.
Yeah, and that was the problem. I was falling into the crib.
Yeah. But did you adjust the height of the crib?
Yes, it was at the top, but I'm like, it was the crib I had. I was like, I should have thought of this like a long time ago.
But
or
back
get the ones
then,
that you could go down and then go up.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that, but yeah, so that's important to remember. Because I remember I was like,
how you
the
hold
first few
them,
times I was trying to do that and I couldn't reach over, and she would wake up startled. Obviously,
it's rough.
Right?
I would be on my tippy toes doing that, like.
Try to. So after that, I was just like, I'm just gonna pat your butt. I'm gonna just or lean all the way in and put my face next to your face, kind of situation.
Done that too. Yep.
And she would fall right back asleep. Yeah. So it was fine.
Yeah.
And then I think the transitioning was fine. And then when she hit like the 1-year-old, that switched her out of her swaddle thing, and I continued just going in, like if she ever like woke up for anything, and I never put her in my bed. I never put her in my bed. Okay. And I think that's what I messed up the second time around.
So with Milo, it was the complete opposite.
Yeah, I was just like, screw this. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. I can't deal with this because it was different.
Well, you also had 2 kids.
Yes,
you had Sienna,
and I had to keep her entertained. And luckily, she was so good. She would go to sleep in her crib and she'd still be there. Yeah, but when we got Milo, I had to actually transition her to a big kid bed. Because we needed
him in the crib,
and then put him in the crib, which was useless because I'm telling you, he never used that crib once. After I tried, I have pictures of his. I'm, you know what? I'm gonna try to post them, and I'll cover his face, but you will see them. You see him standing up. Like I was trying to put him to sleep. He'd be standing up. He'd be touching. Like I tried putting like there's like this under the sea mobile thing.
Yeah.
I would put that on. He would be grinning during the whole thing. And he would not fall asleep. I would turn it off. I'd sit there in the dark, and all I hear him is giggling or rustling and doing things. This was like at 6 months when I was trying to get serious about trying to get him into bed.
Yeah.
And I have pictures of this little mofo sitting there laughing at me. He would crawl to the edge of the bed, and I would hear him hear his hand
go with
the bars. The bars.
Like and some jailhouse
yes.
inmate.
Yes. And I was like, I'm in trouble. How am I going to get him to sleep? Because I can't sit here all night in the rocking chair. I'm going to fall asleep on the rocking chair the whole night. I would rock him, and that he would fall asleep. But the minute I stopped the rocking and put him in bed, up.
So you basically created his bedtime routine to be you holding him, rocking him. And if he didn't have that,
so I could try to extinguish it little by little, like one of the methods that we had here. And
the Extinction method? Yeah.
It didn't work. So I was just like, what is going on? And then what else did I try?
Don't get me wrong. There's times that Derek would also, Tom would say, because we had a monitor. Did you guys have a monitor too?
No, I don't.
I highly recommend a monitor. I recommend it, but a closed circuit one. We didn't have the ones that were
okay. Wi-Fi.
So people can't hack in
Okay.
and like talk to your kid and view the video. So it was a closed circuit one. I'll put the link in the description too. Highly recommend it because there are times that they're just being active, but if you go in there because you think you hear them or whatever, you don't know what's going on, then it's a wrap. Like you got to grab them. It's a done deal. But with Derek, there were times that we would look at the monitor and be like, oh no, he's just playing with the bars. Like he would take his binky and do that with the bars, like how he said Milo would do. But he was laying down and he was getting ready to go to sleep. Like he was in his position. So I was like, nope, we can't go in there. But there were other times that Tom would say, he's like, he's in his sumo wrestler position. Because he would get on the corner and he would like get on there and like wait for one of us to come into the room. And we're like, all right, he's not going down. So let's try and soothe him and try and put him down. So the monitor helped us a lot. If right now I don't have the monitor up because he's kind of like adjusted to his own. I mean, he's going to be 2 years old now, but we lived with that monitor and like depended on it heavily because we can see what he's doing and see whether or not we should go in, as opposed to peeking in and then making eye contact. And
well,
then it's
we had the ones that you hear. I forgot the name as well.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's like a walkie-talkie thing, but
like a walkie-talkie thing. That's all we had. Because I didn't trust the video thing.
You were scared of people hacking in.
Yeah. I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna do this. And anyway, our rooms are so close in proximity up here that we can hear the screaming and shouting. So
see, our room. Well, when you came in Connecticut, it was on the opposite end of the apartment. There was no way we were going to hear him crying, at all. So we had to get that monitor up, which was perfect. There were even times that he would play around in the room and I would leave him in the room playing around, but I would monitor him and like watch him and he was fine. I was like, oh, yes, independent play. I don't have to like peek in, but yeah. Okay. So you didn't do a monitor. You did the sound. I forgot what you called it, but it's like the walkie-talkie thing where you can hear both ways. What else? And you did the projector.
Yeah. So I was like, I had the routine where I would give them a bath and make it like with like lavender or whatever, just to make them sleepy. Chamomile. I did that. I had essential oils that I would rub on the bottom of their feet for sleeping. It worked for Sienna. It didn't work for Milo. I did like the sleep sack. He hated the sleep sack. He did not want to deal with the sleep sack. So I was like, fine, you get pajamas. I pivoted. I did that. I would rock them. I would nurse him to bed and then he would fall asleep. But he wouldn't want me to leave, which was the problem. And I was just like, fine.
It was all good up until.
It was fine. Yeah, up until. So we used the guest room for weeks until I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get him a big ass mattress in his room and I'm gonna get rid of the crib altogether.
Okay.
And that was like at 1. So I got rid of the mattress when he was 1, of the crib when he was 1, because I was like, it's just not working. So I got a mattress, laid it on the floor, and then set it up there so he could climb up and down, whatever. I tried leaving him there, didn't work.
What would he do? Get out and like cry for you?
I sat with him till he would fall asleep and it would work. He would sleep for 2 hours. I want to say 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe max. And then he would wake up and be like, where the hell is my mom? And then I'll have to go from my room, walk around and come back here to sleep with him. And I would just end up falling asleep with him because it was so late. I was just like, I can't deal with this. And then eventually I just moved in altogether.
Actually, you're like, I'm done with this. I just sleep here now.
I think it was just I got to a point where it was like, I didn't want to feel that stress. And it was probably my mistake. I'm telling you, it was my mistake. But I was just like, I don't want to deal with the stress. I really don't. I'm really tired. I had to take, at the time, I was taking Sienna to preschool too. So it was like I had to get her ready. I had stuff, like we were in a routine, but
you had
I was
to be up early,
very tired. And I was like, whatever. So here I am 3 years later and I'm still sleeping with baby.
Okay. So what are you going to try any of these, a combination of these methods out?
Now,
or are you just going to write it out?
I'm gonna write it out. I don't care. Like, I'm sleeping. Okay. I'm telling you that. That's important.
Yeah. I know.
I'm sleeping, and I know probably some moms are like shaking their head at me right now, and I'm like,
no,
whatever.
Whatever works for you.
I was laughing because so I'm in a mom group. I'm not gonna tell you what mom group I'm in on Facebook.
Okay.
But I'm in a mom group, and someone posted they're in a similar situation as I am.
Okay.
They have a 3-year-old, and they're still sleeping with them. And they're like, I'm really tired. I don't want to sleep with them. I want to go back to my bed. Anybody have any advice? And she sounded like she was very desperate. Like she wanted some real advice. Yeah. Some asshole. It was like, you don't sleep with your kid. Like, just let them cry. Leave them in their room. And like, she was very nasty about the whole thing. And I remember I was just like, oh my God, is this what people think about me when I tell them I still sleep with my 3-year-old?
No, some people are just assholes.
Yeah, but this lady was just like, I didn't sleep with my kids. Like, what are you doing? And you're gonna have an 18-year-old sleeping with you, and blah blah blah. Like, it's just very nasty.
So dramatic.
Like, yeah. Wow, she's asking for help. It's like, if you don't have anything nice, it takes a lot for you to
go into a forum and ask for help.
Mm-hmm. She was asking for help, like she was serious, and I was just like, I feel like telling her I sleep with my 3-year-old.
Yeah. Did anybody come to her defense in like the comments?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. People did. But someone was like, "You're rude."
Yeah. Flag the comment.
Yeah.
Kick them out of the group.
I was just whatever.
No, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I think that when somebody is asking for genuine help and advice, I don't think they should be met with, "Oh, well, you should have done blah, blah, blah."
You should not let them sleep in with you or something, like, or the other.
I get it. Like, but I'm here now. I'm here today, and I'm trying to change the situation. So can somebody please be helpful? So, yeah, I don't know. People would just want to be assholes, I guess.
Because I've tried. Like, remember what we tried? I tried getting the kids to sleep together. Remember?
Yeah.
I tried getting them to sleep together, or he just doesn't like his sister she sleeps with like all the she has like all these stuffed animals. She's like, you can never tell where she is on the bed because she's like drowning in them. So he was like,
does she count them all and make sure that they're all there?
I don't even know. She's like always like she'll have like different ones. She'll swap them out, but she knows which ones are missing. And she's like, in the middle of the night, if she wakes up, she did this to us before, where she's like, I'm missing so and so, and I'm like, how the hell do you even know what the hell it's missing? In the middle of the night, waking up looking for
like, how do you know?
And it was like, it's on the floor. But I'm like, whatever. So he didn't like sleeping with her. I tried leaving him there and sneaking out and going to sleep. He wakes up 3-4 hours looking for me. He's just looking for that warmth. I tried fooling him with like teddy bears that are warm. And I even did this when he was old enough. I think it was like maybe 8 months when I still was trying to get him to sleep train. I would put like it was like one of those bean bags. I would warm it up and put it next to him to think, so he would think it's me. Didn't work. I've tried pillows, teddy bears, bean bags, my own weighted blanket, bunched it up.
This is like some Ferris Bueller. Like,
I've tried. I've worn his pajamas like on me all day.
Yeah. So that they can smell like you.
Yes.
And then,
I did that when he was a baby. Didn't work.
Okay.
What else did my mom tell me? She was just like, try this, try that. And I was just like, doesn't work.
Have you tried bringing him into your bed with Vic?
So we tried that, but Victor was so scared, especially when he was smaller. He was so scared that he would roll over and squish him that he was just like, get out of here, go sleep over there.
Yeah, because then he's not interested. He has to be up at like 4:30.
He actually slept in the guest room for a while, leaving me and Milo in the main room. And I felt bad, and I was like, nah, we just gotta get him his own mattress. And that's when we did the switch, because I was just like, you gotta sleep in your own room, because everything's there. He had to come in and he would wake us up anyway, right? Super early. Yeah. Now that his schedule changed, no, I haven't even tried anything new with Milo as of yet, unless maybe one of you guys has a great idea. Please let me know. I've tried everything. I even tried the dogs to sleep with them, like Obi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something, like maybe he just misses and needs company or something. I always tell him, he's like 3 now. So I'm like, you actually can get up from your bed, open the door, and go to the room. Like, you can walk. But he's scared of the dark.
Okay.
So he's like, no.
Why don't you do night lights or something?
We have night lights. That's what I'm like, hello. We have night lights. I tried everything. I'm telling you. I have a night light. I have the hatch. Which is the white noise,
the little
with the
glow
night light.
White noise.
Yes, it's there. I leave that on. I have night lights in my hallway. No. Okay. I've tried everything.
I don't know.
I've tried everything, and that's what I'm just like, you know what, whatever. I sit there. I watch Netflix. I knit in the dark. Which is funny. I got a little light.
You knit in the dark?
I got a light. You know the lights you use to read books that you put around your neck?
The ones that people that go into caves wear, like other.
I use that to knit, and he sleeps during the whole thing, knowing that I'm there, and I'm like, whatever. So I'm sleeping my full 8 hours. Nope.
So when you watch Netflix and stuff, do you wear headphones?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I wear headphones.
I don't know. I don't have any suggestions, because I suggested having him sleep with Sienna, like in the same room, and that didn't work at all.
And I even said, let's get bunk beds, like put one on top, one on the bottom. Nope. He was like, I'm not sleeping. I don't want to sleep with my sister, Mom. Is what he says.
I want to sleep with my mom. I want to sleep with you.
Exactly. He go. That's exactly what he says. I want to sleep with you. Because I told him the other night, well, you know, you're a big boy. You'd have to sleep by yourself soon, okay? And he goes, no, I'm too little. So he like, whatever. I was just like, do you? He's in. Okay. I think eventually he'll be like, he's not gonna find himself with no space.
18-year-old sleeping in bed with his mom. Okay, that's just like when people are like, oh, you have to baby-led wean. You have to do this, because if not, they're never gonna learn how to eat. Like when we were doing purees and stuff, it's like, no, they learn how to do these things eventually. It's just a matter of what's going to keep your sanity as a parent and also allow you to rest. So
I get my full 8 hours.
8 hours, and
I'm good. And you know what's great? Good, I don't have to listen to your brother. You're freaking making noise.
Oh, so there you go, an added bonus.
Yeah, so, he snores like no other. I could hear him through the wall.
Really?
Yeah, and I've been like, damn, I'm happy. My baby don't snore over here. I'm good.
He may kick you every once in a while in the head.
And I tell him that all the time. I'm like, you know what's good? I don't have to hear you snore.
Yeah. Does Milo sleep like all crazy? Like, does he?
Oh man, I have pictures. I take a picture of him every night, because when I do leave him, I'll go downstairs to clean up and do whatever, take a bath, get ready for bed, and then I come back. I always find him diagonal, with his feet on my pillow or something, and I'm like, dude, where am I supposed to sleep?
How does that happen?
Even move and not notice that I'm not there anymore? Like, but then if I leave you there, right? If I leave him there in that position and go to sleep in my room, he wakes up within like an hour screaming, and I'm like, but you just moved the first time around and I wasn't there. So what happened? What's going on?
And you've tried doing that multiple times, right? Like sneaking off.
Oh yeah. And I end up not sleeping, because then he wakes up at like 1 or 2 in the morning screaming. And then I'm like, and then I don't go back to sleep. I'll have a hard time getting back to bed. So I'm like, 8 hours, I'm sleeping with you. I don't care. It's fine.
I mean, listen, there are worse ways of doing things too. Like there are couples that sleep in separate rooms, even without kids, because they just sleep better. And like that's an adjustment. I remember when Tom and I first started like dating and all that stuff. He's like, I don't sleep well with you in the. He's like, we need a bigger bed. But I like, if he's there, like I like cuddling with him, right? But he's very like, he gets hot and like he's uncomfortable, whatever. But I'm like, if that works for you, if like we ended up getting like a king size bed, which is way better, but whatever works for you is what works for you. Like, again, there are couples that don't even have kids and don't sleep in the same room together because one snores, one moves around too much. Like, one is a light sleeper. Like, I don't know if you or Vic are light sleepers. Like, that's also
Vic is, yeah.
Is he?
He'll wake up at, let light sleeper, I'll say, because if he sleeps, he'll fall asleep. But if he wakes up for any reason, he won't go back to sleep.
He's a light sleeper.
He's a light sleeper, I said.
A
but
light sleeper. Okay.
What was it? I don't remember what storm it was. He slept right through it. And I remember telling him, babe, wake up. I hear something. And it was like, because it was blowing. And he was not waking up. No, like he could sleep through. I told him a tornado. He wouldn't even know. Like I was like, you would be flying in the middle and you wouldn't even know. But when he wakes up, he doesn't go back to sleep, which is something else, I think, entirely.
That's me. That's what I do. And I talked about it last episode. Are you a napper? You're a napper, right? You could take naps?
I could take a nap in the middle of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tom is a napper. I can't go back to sleep. I can't. Unless I'm like super drugged up or like sick, I won't be able to go to sleep. That was another thing. So I know some moms that use like melatonin gummies and like chamomile and like all these other things. Have you tried any of that stuff? Do you recommend it?
I'm not even sure. Melatonin gummies. I feel like that causes some type of addiction after a while. Like
of a dependency, like
like not addiction because whatever, but you get dependent on it and you have to rely on it more for more usage, right? Like I wouldn't try it not with the kids. Maybe for myself, but not with the kids.
Okay. One thing that I did try because of the teething is the camellia drops. Have you ever heard of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that has chamomile and like whatever the main ingredients, camellia, I forget what it is, but it helps soothe them. And like it's not something addictive or that they can become dependent off of it like melatonin. But I feel like that definitely helped Derek with the teething phase when he would go through a regression. So I'll put it in the link in the description. Maybe that's something that moms can try. But another thing that I would say with sleep, if anything, try to steer away from, if they're in baby-led weaning phase, don't give them anything with sugar, meaning fruits. Like obviously you're not giving anything with added sugar, but fruits or anything like that right before bedtime because they're going to be wired, right? It seems like common sense, but there's been times that like we'll look at a pouch that has like spinach, pea, kale, whatever, and then it has like strawberry.
Apple?
Apple, yeah. And then it's like, oh, like we can't give them this. This is gonna be wired, you know. So just be considerate of that. Another thing that's helpful too is because we didn't bother with overnight diapers at the beginning. Make sure you get overnight diapers, right? If they're within that age, like that time frame that they're still in diapers, do that because he would wake up. But it was because he had a full diaper.
He was wet.
Pets, you know? So he was wet and like we had to change the sheets and like do all this stuff. Another thing that I would say, another tip is we double bagged the crib basically. We basically put because I'm not changing the whole crib in the middle of the night and then trying to find sheets. So we did the cover, right? The waterproof cover and then a bed sheet and then another cover and then a bed sheet. So if that did happen, all we have to do is take it off.
The double,
throw that over there in the back, whatever, in the hamper, and then put them right back down once you change the diaper. But the overnight diapers helped us a ton.
Yeah.
Obviously, make sure that their bellies are full. That's definitely helpful. And then just do what's right for you and your family. Because you're like, I need my 8 hours. You're getting your 8 hours and you're restful and you're able to function the next day because at the end of the day, you need your sanity and you also need to be a present parent for 2 kids, not just one. But even if you just have 1 kid, like you want to make sure that you're not exhausted and cranky and, you know, just exhausted. Again. But yeah, so you got to do whatever works for you. So like you said, you're going to ride this out until
I'll keep you
he
posted.
decides. Until he decides or you guys decide, let's try something different. But if it's working, it's working.
Unless one of you has an idea that's listening right now. Yeah. And then you can tell me, fill me in, and I'll try it and see if that helps. But I don't know. Otherwise, I'm stuck.
And he wasn't into the dogs. Like, being in his bed.
So the dogs, the problem with the dogs is that he'll jump on and then he'll jump off if he hears something, or if he barks in the middle of the night because he hears stuff outside.
Yeah.
If the alarm goes off in the middle of the night, he sounds like a rescue dog and he goes off. It starts blowing he sounds like the alarm.
Howling.
So
he starts howling.
Yeah, which is funny. So we were like, nah, that's not a good idea because then you're just going to wake him up and then it's whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I'm telling you, I've tried everything. 6 ways to Sunday, bro. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Nothing works. Okay. Nothing works. So I'm done. I was just like, I need to sleep. I don't want to, like, it works. It works for me right now. And so there's no complaints.
What did they, in the forum, in the mom forum that you said, what did they say to that mom that was
I could look for it, but I don't even remember. It was, some people were just like, try to let them, like, maybe give them an incentive. If you sleep tonight, you get something tomorrow. But I'm like, okay, that's bribing them. That's only going to work for so long.
Yeah. Eventually, that's not going to work anymore.
Yeah. Huh. So I don't know. I have to go look to see what they said, but I'm sure there was somebody took it down because that lady was out of control.
Okay. Well, I guess you heard Amy. If anybody has any suggestions or has been in that position before,
try anything at this point. He's 3, but he's got like a little mind of his own. So, he has something to say about everything now.
Okay. Or, you could always try bringing him into, I don't know, maybe try this. Maybe bring him into, mommy has to sleep in the other bed now. You can come. And then he's going to hear Vic snoring. He's going to be like, nope, never mind. I'm going to go sleep in my bed. And then maybe that'll talk him into, try. I don't know. Uh-huh. Maybe.
I even tried, you want to go sleep with daddy? No, that didn't work. That didn't work. Actually did try you want to go sleep with daddy and then I could sleep here in your room? And he was like, no.
He's like, what don't you get, Mom? No. If it's not he was like, no.
And even to put him down at night, I'm have to be the one to put him down.
Oh, really?
Like if Victor tries, it doesn't work. Okay. He's still kind of up, which is funny. Okay. He'll still be kind of like, and then if he hears my footsteps, he springs up like, hi, I'm up. I'm here. I was waiting for you.
Well, he is your mini-me.
He's like thing of nightmares, I tell you.
Okay, well, I don't know. I'm out of suggestions. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've tried, and he has a full belly. He's tired. Generally, always tired. Like he falls asleep, he's dead tired. You could tell. But I don't know. He'll wake up even if I get out of bed. So I don't know. It's probably my spell, the warmth. I don't know.
It's just maybe your mom. That's it. Just, I don't know. Mom. That's all it is. Your mom, and there's nothing better than mom. That's all. Would you have any advice for other moms out there? Given, because you had 2 different experiences. You had a very different experience with Sienna and one with Milo. It's very different. Yeah. So what advice do you have for moms out there? For me, I would say try the Ferber method. It works for us, but I also combined it with the other the fade away and the fade out and the extinction. So I combined it with all of those. But what's your takeaway?
Think for me, a schedule, like setting a schedule with them. Like I had like a strict thing where I give them a bath. It's every night bath, like read to them or whatever, and then sit them in bed in darkness, complete darkness. Like just if you do want to follow any of these methods that we talked about, just do your research, look at it, see if it works. Try it, like actually try it for like a week. Don't be committed. Try it 1 day or 2 days. Try it for at least a week. And if it doesn't work, try something else. Yeah. Or mix things together, because not one worked. It's like one method. Yeah. Like for us, not one method. We didn't do just one method. It sounds like we did a few of them combined. Whatever worked. Yeah. And I think that's what it comes down to, is whatever works for your kid, because not everybody's the same.
Yeah. And if you're going to do it, start earlier.
Yes. try earlier.
I would say start earlier.
And I have nothing to tell you about doing it with a 3-year-old because clearly I've not been successful. And I tried I'm telling you, I tried everything. I started the same way I did it with Sienna. At 5 months, I was like, all right, time to move you to the crib. And every night I did the same thing. And every damn night he was not falling asleep. So, I mean.
Okay. All right. So start early is key.
Start early, right? Yeah.
Well, after 6 months, that's the ideal time because that's when, the feeding schedule and the sleep schedule, they're able to at least sleep a little bit longer. But don't force it because then what's going to happen is you're going to get frustrated and then you're going to say, you know what, F this, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to try. And then you're back to square one. Yeah. So try it out for a solid 4 days at least.
Yeah.
Like it took us 4 days for us to get a groove, a whole 7 days for it to fully be good. Right. And also keep in mind, which is another key thing, leaps, like major leaps, teething, right? If they're teething or anything like that, if you're starting something new, like daycare, change in whoever's going to be taking care of the baby, anything that's going to change the routine and the norm, expect it to be extra difficult around that time, or expect a regression around that time. Or baby-led weaning, if you're going from formula to purees or whatever it is, just know that might cause a shift and a change. So just be patient because it's not easy. It's really not. But it worked for me. It worked for Amy, one out of the 2 kids. It works. It's just, consistency and be aware of the changes that can happen. But hopefully this helps somebody out. We know it's not easy. And I would say thank you guys for listening. And if you have any advice for any one of us, Amy is seeking advice as well for the sleep. Reach out. You can email us at what'snewmamapodcast@gmail.com, which will always be in the description. And you guys can always just comment, DM, whatever. We're here. And thank you for listening.
We'll see you guys next episode. And don't forget, you're doing a good job.
Yes. Doing a great job. All right. Thank you guys. Bye.